ATT from Skype.
Alright, so, hi, I'm Pox.
Hi, I'm Braggable.
And you're watching the Two Smart Guys show for, when are we recording this? This is a live to digital recording. Broadcast
Fox will still heavily edit later on anyways.
I'm not going to edit this thing. This is just going to go out as is.
Yay!
Well, actually, I might insert a few pictures of what we're talking about so it makes more sense.
Heavily edited anyways. So.
Oh god. Yeah, so we don't have a hacking show of like taking things apart and not being able to put them back together again this week like we've had for the past couple of weeks.
Fox is on travel yet again.
And if you've ever watched one of our commute casts, this is just like that, except we're not driving in a car.
Yay! We're not forced to be with each other. Crap.
But I actually do have somewhat of an agenda. There are a few things that we're going to talk about.
It's like the commute cast of the olden days.
Yeah. Back in the days when I
do that, we don't have an agenda anymore. You just start talking. You go, oh wait, gotta record that.
Yeah. So I'm getting an iPhone 4. Woo.
Are you going to be in an area when they say they're going to put it out?
So far, okay, so yesterday morning I woke up and I was like, oh crap, I gotta order the phone because I bet they're gonna be sold out, the pre-orders, right? So I got on, and sure enough, it kept timing out. I couldn't get the order to go through. And after like 20 times of trying, like an hour and a half later, I finally got one to go through.
Holy cow, I mean, they didn't have phone sales? You couldn't call them up and do it that way?
I don't think so. I bet if you could, you probably would have got a busy signal.
Oh, you're just being in a long-ass queue. You have 1,000 people ahead of you.
Yeah, didn't you read any Twitter or see any of the thing about it?
I just know that there was things were delayed.
Yeah, like AT&T, they couldn't even handle the traffic. They were just like, it was just gone. I mean, their website was just down basically, and they couldn't handle it. And same with the Apple Store, it kept crashing too.
Wow, that's a sign of things to come.
So I was trying to actually order a couple of them, but by the time I got through for the next one, it said they were pre-sold out.
We barely squeaked by then.
Yeah, and apparently people are getting emails now saying, oh, you know, our system wasn't working quite right, and we're not actually going to be able to get it to you on the 24th. It's going to be July 2nd.
Oh. So some people will be getting it in July, but what about the original June whatever date?
Oh, the June is it June 24th?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm getting one, but I mean I have to go down to Salt Lake to get it, and they'll supposedly hold it for me all day long. But I'm gonna go down there the night before and do the wait in line thing in the morning because apparently it says in the fine print, first come first serve.
So technically, the people that are getting shipped back to July would just kind of slip through the cracks in the pre-ordering process.
Yeah.
So they are still shipping iPhones June 24th. Then.
Yes, they are still shipping approximately 600,000 of them. And that's when they cut it off.
How does that compare to the first, like the first iPhone and the 3G and the 3GS? What were those numbers? Do you know?
It had 10 times as many pre-orders as the 3GS. So, in the first day, the 3GS eventually, I think the pre-order sold out, but it wasn't until like, well, no, heck, I pre-ordered one the day before it came out. So. I don't know if that pre-order for the 3GS ever went out. I think they eventually sold out the first day, but they didn't pre-sell out.
For the 3GS, it wasn't that big of a jump or an update.
So no, the 3GS was just faster and it had a better video camera. It wasn't like, I don't know, it wasn't huge.
So I'd be curious to see how it stacks up. You know, the pre-orders and the number of units they're shipping out the first time around, how it compares to the 3G and the 2G.
Well, and the other problem was a lot of people couldn't upgrade to the 3GS because they had signed a 2-year contract. And it wasn't quite up yet. Even for the people who had the first generation phone, because it came out in July and then the other phone came out in June. So
So all these people that have been holding on onto their contract, waiting to renew, they were jumping onto the 4.
right. So unless you had over $100, they made exceptions for people who had bills that were average over $100 a month, and then there's a lot of people that were holding on to the 1Gs because of the rate was cheaper. They upped the data plan when you went to 3G. It was like an extra $15 a month or something like that, $10 or $15 a month, and nobody wanted to do it.
So they just stuck with Edge. I'd pay the extra $15 a month for 3G access if I could.
Well, what if you're in a place that doesn't have 3G? Like us.
And technically, you're not paying AT&T.
Well, they're originally when the 3G came out, a lot of areas had 3G. It's like
AT&T's 3G coverage wasn't.
it still isn't. It still isn't all over the map. There's still a lot of places that are only Edge.
No, according to the commercial, they have coverage in 97% of the United States or something like that.
That's the whole thing about that red map. They're showing
Verizon's red map and AT&T's blue map.
Right. When Verizon shows AT&T's map, they're showing the 3G service, which is very spotty. When AT&T shows their map, they're saying that we cover America with data. They don't say it's 3G. But what they do say is 3G is that their 3G is the fastest 3G, which is, from my test, actually true. And other people's
Depends on the
tests.
area, too.
It does depend on the area, but pretty much every 3G place I've been in, when there is AT&T 3G, it's faster. But it's not as reliable.
I've heard that, too. A lot of drop calls, a lot of drop connections, things like that.
Oh man, my phone service is bad here. I can't be on a phone for more than if I'm driving, it drops like constantly. It's just really bad. Really, really bad.
I guess Dakota's worse than Wyoming. Who knew? I didn't think that was possible. I thought Wyoming was on the lowest part of the totem pole, but
Well, we're lucky in Riverton. We have Edge, and over in like Thermopolis and like Rock Springs and some of the other areas, they don't even have Edge. It's just GPMRS or whatever it is below Edge. It's slow.
That's for Union, though. But I mean, with
Yeah.
Verizon, it's
Well, even I don't know. Our 3G Verizon is like 200K maybe. Most of the time it's around 90 or 50, which is what our Edge is. It's not a whole lot different.
and sometimes the Edge even only goes up to like 30.
Yeah, sometimes the Edge gets bogged down real bad. I just don't think.
This is boring. Hey, what?
No.
Next topic.
Next topic.
Yes. The iPad hacker, the guy that leaked all the accounts.
Yeah. Oh wait, one last thing
How
though.
did he do it?
You can still camp out for the iPhone. You can still camp out for the 4. They sold out of the pre-orders, but they're still shipping a bunch of them to Walmart's.
Well, wait. If they ran
Best
the pre-orders,
Buys.
how would they be telling people that slipped through the cracks? It'll be in July, whatever.
They had a certain amount allotted for pre-orders.
So those people, even though they didn't get into the pre-order, they still have their orders, so they can't really cancel and they can't go camp out now.
No, they could go camp out, and then they could cancel if they get one.
Okay.
In fact, that's what I'm thinking about doing, is camping out anyways, getting the one that's not a pre-order, and then coming back and getting my pre-order one.
You'll have to wear like a disguise.
or
No, completely different guy.
Or I could go camp out at like a Walmart or a Best Buy or a Radio Shack and get one, and then go over to the Apple Store and pick up my pre-order. But it's more fun to camp out at the Apple Store because they're like nice and they give you things to drink and stuff. And I don't know. That's where the more exciting camp out is. Yeah, all the Apple employees are there. It's like a big party. All right. Anyway, so the hacker that got caught, Like Muscle Nerd was saying, he didn't expect to get searched, and they found drugs on him.
Oh, yeah, I saw that tweet, and he was thinking he was, criticizing him for not expecting that or not being careful. How did he get caught, anyways?
Um, you know what? I should have read the article. I was hoping you'd do it. I was in meetings all day.
No, I didn't get a link to any article. All I saw was Muscle Nerd's tweet, and like, oh, that's him. That's what you get.
So,
how about how did he do it? Do you know that at all?
how to do it? Well, so this is the hacking.
No, how did he do it? What was the exploit he used?
Oh, how did he get all the credit card numbers?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, but he said that okay, so this is the head of this team that supposedly did it, and they said they weren't using it maliciously. They were just proving that it could be done so that they could fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Or so they said. And because he was not so smart, he was probably easily traced by his IP, and they're like, "Oh, this is where this guy lives. Let's figure out, if he's got everybody's credit card numbers." They bust down his door, take his computers, find one that's full of pot or something like that, and they're like, "Oh, he's possessing drugs."
Well, they probably searched his whole house.
Anyways,
like the smartest guy of the crew. Then
we'll come back to that later if anybody in the chat room can point us to a link.
Yeah.
Which is
Nintendo 3D.
The Nintendo 3D, and before before we get on to that, I just want to point out that we're doing this show remotely because we're not in the same place. And if you need to do anything remotely because you can't be in the same area, like GoToMeeting, I suggest that you go to gotomeeting.com/podcast and try our free month trial. Let's go to meeting.com/podcast. Yes, give it a shot. It's cool. It lets you do remote meetings and stuff through the internet. And
helps support us.
Yes. The host is the one that pays, or the person hosting the meeting, it's costs them, or you get a free 30-day trial. And then everybody who joins in, it's totally free. So you can invite as many people as you want in. So recommend it to your boss. All right, on to the Nintendo 3DS, or 3DI, or what is it?
So the screen, I was actually reading up on this one. The screen is a stereoscopic screen for 3D display. How well does that sound like it works to you?
It's the parallax barrier method that they are using in the 3D TVs that I saw at both CES and at NAB. They work as long as you're right in front of them, which actually would work pretty good for something you're holding right in front of your face. But yeah, if
how does that work? What is it doing?
Okay, so like all these movie covers that are 3D, they got the rigid lines in them. So the resolution is 800 by 240, which is actually 400 by 240 per eye is the resolution of this DS 3D. What is it called? It's the DS 3D. Yeah.
Numbers and D and some I's and S thrown in there.
Anyways,
I don't know. So you were right on the money then when you said it was going to be that kind of 3D, and I can't believe you called it. There's a slider on it. They have a slider that controls the 3D effect. What is that fucking doing? Then?
It's changing the interocular distance because games are 3D. The games are being generated inside the machine, so they can do that. They won't be able to do it with movies, but just things that are being generated, in real time. It'll just basically take the virtual cameras and move them closer together or further apart. But the cool thing is you can move them all the way together and have a 2D image. So if you don't want to have the 3D, you don't have to have the 3D, which is cool. So it's like, and apparently I was looking and I couldn't find the exact specs, but they're saying that it's close to get out of a PS3 or a 360. It's supposed to be far better than what's on the iPhones, iPods, and
So it's
PSPs.
they really beefed it up then.
Yeah, they're going all out because they must see the iPhones and stuff as a real threat. So they're pulling out all the punches. They're going 3D. They're doing high resolution. They're putting in a beefy graphics processor.
Any pricing on it yet?
I don't think they released pricing, and they said it's going to be out for March of next year. It's weird that they had announced it now when it won't be available during the holidays. So it's kind of strange.
A whole another year.
Apparently, they're kind of forced to release it because there's been some leaks of like prototypes and things, the development kits.
The video is everything. It looks like they have a really polished and finished product. I don't know what the holdup would be for a whole year.
They'd be waiting on a couple of things. Games, people to make games. They announced a handful of games. It's got 3 cameras on it.
Yeah, 2. So one facing you, and I saw that 2 on the back, so you can take 3D images.
You can also take 3D movies. It says it can record video in 3D. Now they're just 640 by 480, so they're not very high res. They're AF, but still cool stuff.
But still, and it's taking that data of 3D recording and putting it into a consumer device.
I would assume they're gonna try and do.
There's nothing else out there like that right now, is there?
Yeah, the closest thing is I think it's a Casio camera that came out a couple weeks ago, and it's $700. So yeah. I don't know. The interesting thing is they say it'll play back 3D movies. So I'm wondering if they're gonna go all out and because they have WiiWare right now, or not WiiWare, DSiWare, and maybe they'll sell movies. So just like you can order a movie on the PlayStation Network. They didn't announce this. But they did say it can play back 3D movies. I might be able to get Alice in Wonderland and Avatar and stuff on it next year.
Next thing you know, they're gonna put a phone into it.
It wouldn't surprise me. I don't know. It'd be something else if there was a Nintendo phone. Oh, they should. They should do it. They should. Anyways, it's really kind of a surprise. Everybody thought it was going to be just a gimmicky piece of junk or something, but apparently it's a whole new piece of hardware. It's not just the Nintendo DS, some gimmicky 3D mode. It's an actual whole new system.
Well, that's good because all they've been putting out is just slightly updated DSs, like the DS XI or whatever. And it's apparently got an analog joystick, not a nub, a joystick. Yeah, it's like a little nub. So,
but they said it's not a nub. It's not like a slidey nub like the PSP. It's an actual joystick.
Weird.
It must have some kind, like the eraser, like on a notepad or something with a big head on it. Where you can actually kind of move it.
Those things, they're not very smooth. I imagine they made it really smooth.
It'll be interesting to see. But yeah,
here though.
Supposedly Nvidia's doing the chip. Rumor is it's the Tegra 2, which is in the box. Yeah. Anyways, I guess one of the things we should be talking about with all these new things is how hackable they are. As one of the chat people have pointed out.
About Move and Connect and everything like that.
Yeah, these are Bluetooth devices. Okay. Well, Move. Yeah. Like the camera, the remotes, they're Bluetooth, so you'll be able to do some really cool projects with these things on the PC, or I can see like Johnny Lee doing some cool things with all this stuff. He already is doing some cool stuff with the Wiimote, and he's started doing new projects for the Motion Plus. Is it Motion Plus? Yeah.
Well, it just it doesn't have to be hardware specific for the PS3 or for the Xbox 360. They're essentially just webcams hooked up to them.
And apparently this is the year of the gyroscope, because that's what was the big deal with Wii Motion Plus, is it added a gyroscope in addition to the accelerometers.
And it's in the 3D. It's in the iPhone 4 has a gyroscope. You said
it's in the Move, and it's also in the iPhone 4.
Yeah, I said that. It's also in I think Nintendo 3D.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant to say. The Nintendo 3DS.
So there was some company that started developing gyroscopes that could be embedded into mobile platforms.
Apparently, and so developers have to think about this whole new game mechanics because all the new platforms are going to have it. So you're going to see all these different Jenga-like games and things that require, very precise physical movements.
So what's the difference between a gyroscope and an accelerometer? I know that an accelerometer only measures on one axis, but when you put a whole bunch of accelerometers together, that's not the same thing as a gyroscope?
I think a gyroscope... It's a lot more accurate, and there's more axes. That's how you get the 6 axes instead of just the
6. So that's 3. Where are the other 3?
I won't talk about it because I don't know anything about it. I won't pretend to.
Okay. I'm just asking because I'm curious.
And we're already going on an hour here, so...
Holy shit, okay. We're almost done.
We're almost done.
The list is the Mac Mini.
The Mac Mini, they just came out of nowhere. They're like, yeah, sorry about not being able to order iPhones, but here's a Mac Mini. I thought it was dead.
It has a place.
And it's unibody. That's weird. They're like, it's not a laptop, but we made it a unibody just to fit in.
I thought it was always a unibody.
No, it wasn't an aluminum unibody thing like the laptops. It was a white shell thing, looked identical to our time capsules.
Okay. So what did they update on the Mac Mini then?
Did I tell you they flat out replaced my time capsule?
Yeah, you did. What did they update in the Mac Mini?
Oh, HDMI port. They finally put one on the back, but they upped the freaking price of the thing. It's like $699 now.
So
it's an awesome media center now, but it's like $600.
So it's not like if they put the HDMI port on the back of it, they're just kind of gonna boot out Apple TV and kind of just make the Mac Mini and the Apple TV.
Well, no, because the Apple TV is only $200 or maybe $150 now. I can't remember, but
it doesn't play 1080p content. I thought it only does 720.
That's the next rumor. The rumor is the next Apple TV will be $100 and do 1080p to compete with like Roku and Boxee and all of these other things that are coming out.
All these other low-end consumer media, home theater PCs, blah 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 blah.
And again in the chat room, we are live.
I wonder if the Apple TV would run a full version of Mac OS X, or if they would adopt iOS onto it.
Ooh, I bet you that's what's going to happen. You're right. They're totally going to do that. Because right now it's running Tiger.
Still?
The Apple TV is. Yeah. Yeah. It's just Tiger with front row that boots up with it. It's a stripped down Tiger with front row. They're totally going to do that. They're totally going to put iOS 4 on it, and it's going to have apps.
It sounds
like bet you anything.
For the Apple TV, it's just a slimmed down version of Mac OS X, and that's what Apple TV needs. So
it's going to happen. I'd place big bucks on it.
We'll call it.
Yep. It's a done deal. So I'm really disappointed in the specs on the Mac Mini because it's still just a Core 2. If it was like an i7 or something like that, it'd be awesome.
It's not even a Core It's not even a Core i3 or a Core i5.
Nope, Core 2. And no Blu-ray. Just
for $700, I don't know.
It's like, man, I built these awesome box machines for just under $5, and this is like nowhere near as powerful, and it's like twice as much. So I'm not buying one. Yeah, an i3 would be awesome, but no dice.
They can shove an i7 into a laptop. Why can't they shove an i7 into the Mac Mini?
There's no reason they couldn't. They totally could have. I don't know. I'm sure. It's a good question. Why? Why didn't they? Really? Why didn't they? They put an SD card reader in the back of it. I don't know. Drink 2 beers. How about a Fanta? Okay, so there was a question about what happened to my iPhone 4 from last week. If you're watching this pre-recorded, I didn't show that because I broke the iPhone. It doesn't work anymore.
Well, it didn't work, then it worked, and it didn't work, then it worked, and then...
Yeah, I finally did end up getting it back together again, and it booted. Unfortunately, after like 5 or 10 minutes, it goes to a white screen. I think I severed a cable. I ordered a new one. It's coming in. There will be a show on it later.
So which cable did you order?
It's like this huge, massive spaghetti cable that goes all the way through the top. And there's only one.
So hopefully that will fix it. And I thought you ordered another part too besides that headphone jack.
Oh, yeah. In my attempt to mess with things, I broke the home button, or the back of the home button. And I ordered a new. It's also a ribbon cable with some like prongs on it. I ordered a new one of those, but apparently it still worked. So I didn't really need to do that. But it was only like $1. So like.
When you go out there and you search for these replacement parts, you find places like iFixit that charge an insane amount of money, $50, $60, and then you go and search eBay, $10, $5.
Yeah.
So it's a good, for people that do have to fix this, it's, you know, a good information tip on them for them to go out and find a better deal instead of going and getting hosed for $50 at a time.
And speaking of not getting hosed, you should back up with Mozy. Mozy.com/toosmart.
Don't let your data get hosed.
Yeah, so
$5 a month.
Yeah, I mean it's cheap. I mean it's an awesome deal. I use it, and I'm backing up way more than I should be.
Are you still uploading your Drobo?
Yeah, actually I've toned it down just to be my system hard drive because I don't have a fast enough upspeed to upload.
That was the other thing you wanted to do.
50 terabytes.
You wanted to show people how to back up to Mozy their external drives. Remember how we got that enabled? And it actually works.
Okay, so the way we did it with Carbonite, that apparently is a no-no. But with Mozy, they say right on their website to do it that way. It's not even a hack. So
and they just said, "Go have at it."
Yeah. Oh. So. Anyways, if you want to give them a shot, Mozy.com/toosmart, and you'll save with using our code. So it would be awesome.
Something.
Yeah, this amount right here on the bottom of the screen. Every single month, so it's totally worth using our code. toosmart. That's it. Next, okay, so now that we have an hour-long show, thank you for staying tuned this long.
Hey, the numbers, like the number of viewers stuck up around 10. It didn't drop off at all, down to 2 or anything.
If I was breaking something, it would have been up to like 30, because that's how it usually goes. Anyways, to wrap up the pre-recorded show, because I think anything over an hour is really going to be stressing out any of my ways of uploading. You can catch us live every night, every Wednesday night at 10:30 Mountain Time, which is 9:30 Pacific Time, and Eastern it's like 12:30. And then the edited show I post on the following Monday, so you can see the nice spit polished version. So
okay. Good.
Thanks for tuning in, and see you guys next week.
And thanks for sticking around. Have a good night.
This has been a Two Smart Guys production.